Hey babes, welcome back to The Lady and Her, the podcast where we romanticize our lives, spiral a little, but somehow land on our feet. Eventually. Sometimes? Okay, usually with Jesus' help. If you're new here, hi, I'm Britt, your unofficial virtual big sis or little sis, depending on how the week's going. 20-something-year-old Christian woman currently working as an English teacher by day and plotting my digital marketing soft life by night. Listen, I'm trying to escape my 9 to 5, follow God's lead, and not lose my mind in the process. Now, if that sounds like your life too, grab your coffee, your oat milk chai, your sparkling water, or whatever self-soothing beverage you've got in your hands, and let's talk. So let's start here, because being in your 20s, it's like being handed the keys to a car you literally don't know how to drive while blindfolded, during rush hour, with everyone yelling at you to just trust the process. This season of life is a weird blend of feeling like a child with a debit card and also someone's future wife, mother, CEO, Proverbs 31 woman, skincare influencer, and trauma healing visionary. I don't know who planned this stage of life, but I like a meeting. Like now. The expectations? Insane. You're supposed to find your purpose, file your taxes, build a side hustle, hydrate, stay close to God, and exfoliate while pretending you're thriving? Meanwhile, I'm just sitting in my overpriced apartment abroad, wondering if I can expense therapy under professional development. And listen, social media is definitely not helping. Everyone's posting highlight reels from Bali, making 6 figures from their laptop, and I'm over here lesson planning for 12-year-olds who call me teacher like I'm a Pixar character. Interesting. But real talk, under the noise, there's been a slow, quiet realization forming in my spirit. Now let's talk about the escape. That inner nudge that whispers, this can't be it. I love teaching English. I really do, but there's something powerful about language and connection. And some of my students, honestly, keep me sane. But there came a moment where I knew I wanted something more. Not more hustle, but more ownership. More freedom and more alignment with my vision and my purpose. Listen, I remember sitting at my desk, red pen in hand, staring at my calendar like it had personally wronged me. And I thought, Jesus did not die for me to spend 40 hours a week in fluorescent lighting formatting worksheets and chasing lesson objectives for a system that I don't even believe in, because I don't. So I started flirting with digital marketing. It wasn't a polished business plan. It was a late night Pinterest board, a Canva template, and a big prayer. And maybe a breakdown or two. But every time I take a baby step, every invoice sent, every blog published, every little risk, I feel like I'm building something for her. The woman I'm becoming, the lady in her. Of course, none of this happens in a vacuum. You can't pivot your entire life and not bring your faith with you. Or at least you definitely shouldn't. Trying to build a new life and stay grounded in your faith, that's next level adulting. Some days I'm journaling like I'm the next Esther, listening to worship music, feeling so aligned with God's plan I could cry. Other days I'm spiral scrolling, comparing my life to someone else's LinkedIn wins, and praying that the Holy Spirit overrides my Wi-Fi. Living abroad has tested me in ways I didn't expect. Spiritually, emotionally, I've doubted. I've been lonely. I've had Sundays where I miss my home church so bad it hurt. But I've also learned that God isn't confined to my comfort zone. He moves in apartments with bad plumbing. And trust me, I've had some bad plumbing living abroad. But, he sits with me at empty cafes where no one speaks my language. He's in the small things and the scary things. And maybe the scariest part, trusting him when there's no spreadsheet, There's no clear plan, no backup job lined up. But what I'm learning is this. God is not just the God of breakthroughs and Instagram testimonies. He's also the God of the messy middle seasons. The weird in between, the what am I doing with my life prayers. So where does that leave us? Right here. In the progress, still in the process, but definitely in purpose. Still figuring it out, still working, still building, still trusting, still becoming her. If you're teaching abroad and wondering if it's okay to want more, trust me, it is. If you're trying to love God but also leave your job, you're not crazy. You're just growing. It's a new season, a new time for everything. And if today you feel like you're not doing enough, let me remind you, showing up is enough. Saying yes to your calling even when you're scared, now that's true obedience. That's courage. That's becoming the lady in you. All right, girl, that's all for today's episode. If you love this conversation, send it to your besties, your group chat, or your mom who still doesn't understand your job, or that one friend who keeps saying, I just feel stuck. Now, don't forget to rate, leave a cute little review if you're feeling generous, and subscribe so we can keep growing together. I'll see you next week. Stay soft, stay strong, and always, always stay in your lady. Love you. Bye.